Welcome to Coming Off the Edge. I don't even know what day it is, man. Oh, it's Tuesday at 7 o'clock, and that's why we are here. Shout out my partners in crime, Corey Spala, Jeff Bell.
Picks,
What's going on tonight, fellas?
I'm doing well, man.
Best night of the week.
BDOTW.
What?
Yeah.
BDOTW. Best day of the week.
Oh,
Tuesdays. Taco Tuesdays.
Taco. It is
Taco
Taco
Tuesdays.
Tuesday.
I'm going to have a quesadilla after this. I'm looking forward to it.
I had a bratwurst for dinner.
Ooh. Peppers? Mustard? Dijon?
Sauerkraut?
Yep, just plain.
No bun, too.
Well, I had a gluten-free bun.
Oh, you get a GFB? Okay.
So
Dang,
that's a good food question, Corey.
Okay.
If it's Taco Tuesday, are you allowed to eat a quesadilla? Does it count as like a taco?
Well, he ate a brat.
That has nothing to do with
I
Taco
could do a
Tuesday.
chicken taco then, dude. What do you mean? I could do a chicken taco.
Well, I don't think the type of meat matters in the taco. Like, it doesn't have to be an Americano taco and like ground beef. Like,
yeah, if it's a chicken quesadilla, it still doesn't count.
No, I'll do it. I'll
Tuesday.
do a taco then. I'll do a CTT, Chicken Taco Tuesday.
So instead of folding it and griddling it, as long as you just fold it in half and eat it, it counts as a taco.
I'll make a quesadilla and then open it.
Taco is the same idea.
And then
it's a taco technicality.
It's a T. It's a TTT, Taco Tuesday technicality. That's a T-scoot, as we call it around here. Oh, we got comments. The comments work now. Oh, shout out to the YouTube. Is the Twitter comments still doing it like its thing?
Justin's our
shout out to Justin, dude.
Justin.
Shout out to the Tilt. Justin gets it. Shout out to, is that Mello? Shout out to Mello. To answer your question, though, I'm doing great. Had a good day.
Good. And to answer your question about Twitter, no, someone please watch this video.
What is going on?
Fix the comment section on StreamYard.
And you can't even see how many people are watching, right?
It's obligatory that everybody says to fix the comment section. Every show that I've seen in the last 2 weeks, somebody says fix the comment section.
Until they do it, fix the comment section. Twitter. What's the guy's name?
Mark? I don't know. That's not Mark.
Zuckerberg?
No, that's Facebook.
He's having some bad days.
Oh yeah.
Everything's been down lately. Twitter sucks. Oh, shout out to CJ Luke. Twitter does suck.
Yeah, so I mean, shout out YouTube for holding it down and still doing their thing. Like,
I should tweet that out in the tweet right now, real quick. And while I do that, Justin, OBJ, Corey Davis, Melvin Gordon, Devontae Smith, or Knox. Shout out to Knox. Jeff, talk about Knox real quick.
Dustin Knox is having a fantastic start to the season.
I love your tweet.
Really emerged as the he's the only receiving tight end the Bills have on their roster. And so before the season, everybody was expecting the great Gabe Davis breakout season. And you kind of look at the personnel. They said they wanted to use the tight end more. And, everybody kind of pushed Dawson Knox out. But we know tight ends take a little bit longer to develop. He's hitting year 3. He was a 3rd-round pick. The flashes were always there. And so I think there was excitement at just one of those things that people got in on him his rookie year. People got in on him year 2, and they just didn't want to get burned again. But when you look at the personnel and you look at what the team wanted to do, this team is running the most plays in the league, 71 per game. And that is the highest play volume in the league. Most of those are passing plays. And he's emerged first as a red zone threat. And he caught 2 touchdowns last week, obviously. But they're starting to use him more in more areas of the field. And you can see the trust is growing between Dawson Knox and Josh Allen. He had 2 touchdowns. They just missed him on a 3rd in the end zone. So he just missed a massive day. But he's a guy that's got me excited. And I don't think it's a mirage. And I think we saw Robert Tonyan last year, caught, I believe it was 10 or 11 touchdowns. And it was the type of thing where everybody's like, oh, well, he's just catching touchdowns. But if he's just catching touchdowns every week, that's kind of what you want. And that's kind of where.
Yep, that's all you need from a tight end.
Yeah, I know before last week he was sitting at tight end 6. I don't know exactly where he's sitting now, but if he's on your waiver, I'd be picking him up.
Absolutely. So you starting him over, say, Melvin Gordon, who's split in time?
He's currently tight end 6.
He's still the same. Damn, after that big game?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's behind Kelsey, Waller, Gronk, Schultz, Hawkinson, and then there's Knox.
Well, it makes sense.
I mean, Schultz had another big game. So
Schultz did.
And Hawkins.
Gronk didn't even play. So you start Knox though over these guys. Corey Davis coming off a big game. OBJ.
I don't know if that Broncos offense is an offense I want to touch right now with Drew Lock taking over.
Oh,
and
that's right.
This week was the first week that Javonte Williams outsnapped Melvin Gordon. So this
1%.
The first 3 games, Melvin Gordon had more snaps. This was the first week that it really kind of slid over to Javonte's side. So I don't know who I'm sorry. I should know who everybody's playing this week, but I don't.
I mean, dude, I know nothing. I know that the Bengals are playing the Packers because I made a tweet about Joe Mixon's ankle
Denver's
injury.
playing Pittsburgh.
Well, I believe the
Is
Bills
Watt
have
playing?
the Chiefs this week.
Bills are playing the Chiefs.
That's a
Yeah,
shootout.
so that's
Shootout.
the game
Start
that I kind of want
Knox.
pieces of.
And
But
the Jets are playing Atlanta. So yes, you
ooh,
can play Corey
Davis?
Davis.
And what's going on with Baker and OBJ?
I would play Corey Davis, Devontae Smith, and Knox.
Oh,
I'm
sorry,
not trusting OBJ, even with 7 targets.
Come on, Baker, figure it out.
He's not
OBJ
catching
had
those
the
targets.
most air yards of anybody in the league.
Oh, is that what?
Oh
prompted
yeah,
your
I mean,
tweet?
it's all worth the air
Twice
yardage
prompted
if
my tweet.
they catch the ball. Like catch
Yeah.
the ball, and then you can talk about your air yards. How about just talk about receiving yards? Because that's what really counts for fantasy. I don't care if you're throwing him the ball. If he's playing against defenses that can stop those air yards from becoming receiving yards, then I don't want to have anything to do with him. I would love for OBJ to be something because I am a Baker Mayfield believer. I love the step that Baker Mayfield has taken in his 4th year in the NFL. I think he's doing great things. I think he's a great game manager and playing to Kevin Stefanski's offense perfectly as planned. But it just feels like they lost something when Landry went out that they probably won't get back. They're just treading water until he does. And that's what hurts me a little bit because OBJ was never that guy for Baker Mayfield. It just never worked. And now we're seeing it coming again. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. You might as well put Donovan Peoples-Jones on the field and just start throwing to DPJ. Like, because at least DPJ catches the ball.
But we know what this team wants to do. And so, they're playing the Chargers.
Up on that one.
They're playing the Chargers this week, and we saw Brandon Staley's defensive development with the Chargers last night. He's got them cooking. But the game plan, you would have to believe, is to run the ball, rely on that defense. And so that's a game that it worries me because I think that the Chargers are capable of taking Odell Beckham out of the game plan. Certainly from what we've seen performance-wise from Odell Beckham, he doesn't seem like he's defense-proof, and it's at what point is it just a name that, it's one of those, and that's one of the most difficult things about fantasy, and especially a player that we've seen be an elite player in the past that you're expecting that production. We see the air yards and you think, oh, well, the underlying stats are there, but sometimes all the underlying stats might be there and the name might be there and you burn 7 points every single week until you're out of the playoffs. And so sometimes it's a hard thing to do. And people preach start your studs, and to a certain standpoint, especially early in the season, I can see that, but we're kind of at the point now where we have information that we can deal with, and we know what the Browns want to do. Baker's, I believe, 28th in passes thrown. They're 26 or something like that. They're just not putting the ball in the air a lot.
Let's have some fun with OBJ. OBJ is currently what? I don't even know what his production number is. What his rank? Oh, he's wide receiver 90 on the season. Obviously, he's only played 2 games, but would you rather have rest of season Jamison Crowder or Odell Beckham?
OBJ.
I mean, I'm still taking Odell Beckham in that
OBJ.
one. It's just I don't think Crowder's
let's go a little somewhere else with that.
Crowder had a big
rather
week.
have
No.
Marquez Callaway, who is wide receiver 72, or OBJ?
OBJ.
I think Callaway's disappearing when Michael Thomas comes back. I really do.
OBJ. If he does. Is he going to
All
come
right.
in?
Let's see if we can get it. Let's see if we can get one here. Allen Robinson, wide receiver 60, or OBJ?
Robinson.
Allen Robinson.
Me and Jeff are in cahoots. Let's go. It's cute.
Can't
wait for our disagreement.
Zach Pascal or OBJ?
Pascal.
Pascal's currently wide receiver 35.
No, dude, something interesting because he has like 4 touchdowns, but I don't think he's ever topped a game above like 47 yards.
No, and last year he ran more routes without targets than any player in the league last year. He was on the field for the entire time with the Colts, and he just wasn't a priority in the target.
He doesn't get the air yards.
No, he's a low air yard player. He gets red zone targets, which is nice, but I don't know, man. I don't want to rely on red zone targets to play a wide receiver. Like whenever
No.
you know, and we talked about it a little bit in the chat today about like I'm just hunting volume. That's all I want. Like when a wide receiver, like I'm hunting volume. I'm hunting targets.
Cordarrelle Patterson.
You know,
Speaking of hunting targets, Jacoby Myers
Yes.
or OBJ?
Jacoby
Myers.
Right on.
Jeff?
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
Dude, Jacoby
gotta
Myers
get
is like
touchdown.
top 10 in target. Like I think he had 12 targets this week and the week before.
He's on pace for
he
like
had a bunch
270.
Yeah, and hasn't gotten into the end zone. Like
He has a
doesn't
throwing.
have to.
He's got a passing. Not this
He's
year.
averaging 13.4 fantasy points per game. He's currently wide
Wait till
receiver
the
29 in PPR
Regression.
formats. No regression. I mean, the guy has 27 receptions on 41 targets. Just keep doing your thing, Jacoby, all day long.
That's right.
Macaroni and cheese.
You know who has Jacoby in the Chaos League?
Is it you? I got $10 from Troy today. Let's go.
This 4-0 guys got him.
Yo, these us three, man, we're just running chaos, aren't we?
Corey cooked, but Corey's like 1-3, I think now.
I'm not good.
Okay.
I'm not
Chef
good.
is dropping high scores, but I'm
dropping high scores, but I'm also
I'm
dropping
1-3. I got my first
90 to 95% of perfect roster build
I am an
every week. So that's the big thing. Yeah, man. I mean,
switch, though.
Yeah, that Tuesday switch has been helping me out. I mean, it helped me out that I left Jamar Chase on the bench the first 2 weeks. I didn't start him until last week. I'm just like, the Tuesday switch will take care of that.
You've got a team, and like doing these Tuesday switches for everybody. Like I feel like I know
you, Jeff.
I know exactly who's on everybody's team now. And Chef's team,
whenever I get
Chef's team, I'm like, oh, this dude's got Jamar Chase on the bench, or Chase.
I had Chase Edmonds on my bench.
Talking about that the other
dudes.
You got Woods on your bench. Mike Williams.
You could tell like where I was like tilting, like who I wanted to put in, like which matchup was gonna pay out, and I'm like, the Tuesday switch will take care of it. Don't worry about it.
I'm just happy I got my second quarterback.
I love it, but it has broken my brain for other leagues because I'll be like, oh, I should start sit, but like, Tuesday switch. No, I only have that in one league. Like, I'd actually need to figure this out.
It's a great rule. Whose rule was that? That
was Dave's rule.
Dave's rule.
I feel terrible though because poor Juan is 0-4 and he's gotten burnt by the Matthew Berry rule 2 weeks in a row.
Pick a better backup.
Yeah, man.
So the Matthew Berry rule
how it goes. I took David Blau this week.
Yeah,
that's
only reason why I wanted to take my guy, and I'll even share it on air. Phillip Walker, PJ Walker for Carolina. I don't think Sam Darnold is coming out anytime soon. Not when he's QB5. That's for sure. Injury. Yeah, I mean, don't say that, dude.
Facts, dude.
But I mean, he played on Thursday night, and can we please get the draft done before the Thursday game?
You know how it goes, bro.
Please, Chaos League. For those of you that don't know who are watching or listening, we are a part of a Chaos League that we created. 12 Chaos Commandments added in for fun, but man, it is so chaotic. It is out of control. The three of us control all the extra scoring and watch everything. Well, Jeff does a lot of it. I helped this morning. I helped and I helped last week as well. I do. I go in there. I make sure everything's good, and if I need something, I'll
we should set up that draft right now.
Second set of eyes. We should probably set up that.
Let's set it up right now. Look at that.
I
got it.
If you want to do it live on the show, I don't care.
I don't know if all 12 of us are coming in.
Wait.
It's going to take 4 days to get all 12 joins.
So. No.
But at least we do it, which is important. Everyone does it, so that's the important thing that we should know.
I mean, it's a good note for commissioners out there, even if they aren't in
how do I do this?
A chaos league like we are. Like, if you're a commissioner, you need to be checking everybody's rosters. You need to be checking everybody's lineups. Like, I myself am guilty of leaving people on IR that aren't on IR in the IR spot. Like, sorry, not sorry, because you didn't catch it. I'll switch it on Tuesday. Sorry. Like,
we did have multiple zeros this past week. I know
Yeah.
Chase Claypool played. I know
Chase Claypool played.
So we there's some players playing that
there's some people there that aren't watching their rosters,
switch,
and that's tough, man. I mean, maybe they're leaving it in for the Tuesday switch, or maybe they don't have another player to put in. Not all of us. I mean, obviously the three of us got all the best players. So
3 or 4.
What do you mean? I'm 1-3.
Well, shout out Cooter.
You
Shout out
don't have
Cooter.
any quarterbacks, Corey.
I got Heineke and Russell Wilson.
League. Okay, you did get Heineke. That
I got
Heineke. Heineke's doing pretty
I
well
really
right now.
thought that like the -6-9 incompletion would be a disaster.
I thought it would be a little bit bigger factor too, but then you got Patrick Mahomes dropping 40 points this past week, so clearly it's not as big a factor as we thought it would be.
Well, not for like people like that, but like when it got to the point like where like I could have picked at the time, I thought Sam Darnold would be bad, but shoot me, in the behind there. But when I was going with Daniel Jones, it was like, do I really want to pick Daniel Jones when like Allen Robinson was available or something?
The answer was yes.
I know I was overthinking, dude.
Yeah, I have Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, and who's my third? Who's my
I was overthinking.
And Dak Prescott. Yeah.
So, I know I have Josh Allen and I have Derek Carr, I have Jameis, and I also have
I just sent
the elusive Mr. Watson on the bench there.
Yeah, but I
don't have a fourth. I wish I had a fourth, and I have no my rookies stink except for like Kenny Gainwell on my bench.
Oh, you do it. I love
Taxi,
Kenny.
but I don't want to take him out of there anytime soon. I just want to let him sit there and
love Kenny,
gain some value. Shout out to Troy King. He tried to trade me for Chase Edmonds, and I was a little stingy on it because I knew he was going to have a good week.
He's killing it, dude.
He was
like, I need a running back. I need a
running
back.
I made a deal with him.
Oh, did it go through?
He sent me the same one.
I traded him Carson, and I got back LaVisca, and I got back his second, which right now is looking like the 2.01.
Wow.
I
should have taken that, dude, because he invited me. He sent that same thing to me.
That's messed up. I wanted a first for
We're calling Troy out. Let's not talk.
I wanted a first for Edmonds. I wasn't.
I like Edmonds, but that's a little bit aggressive.
I mean, you come saying that you need a running back. I first offered Darrell Henderson, which would have been a fine second round. I wanted a second for Darrell Henderson, and you can't complain for that because that's about what he's worth right now. You don't know the status of Cam Akers coming back next year. Would I have given up Henderson for a second?
I'm talking to you right now. You'd be willing to give up Henderson for a second?
Let's make a live trade.
I have to look at your roster, Jeff. You have a little bit
live trade,
little bit more assets to trade than a second. All right, I don't want your 211. I don't want the 211. I'm saying the 211 because I have the 212. Okay, so yeah,
just saying. I'm saying that 211. I mean, if we're looking for a second, you're worried about Henderson's long term. That 211 for
that's
Henderson
still a
there.
I mean, Henderson was just a gift from the fantasy gods that fell on my plate because I drafted him in like the 17th round.
It turned out to be a TV dinner.
Yeah, it was a TV dinner.
It could be a free second.
It was a Detroit style pizza.
Oh, yum. Yeah, what's wrong with Detroit style pizza?
I mean, it's a little dry.
Okay.
They do the sauce work.
Midwestern guys here, so.
Yeah.
But Detroit, I mean, I live in Michigan. I'm not a Detroit style fan, but I don't mind it. I mean, I'm definitely like a thin crust guy, party cut. Don't really mess with.
I like the New York style. If I were to
just
go
a big slice.
I'm from New York, so I'm kind of biased.
Yeah, I'm in
Jersey food is.
I've never had. What is it? New England style?
New England style.
Not New England. What's that one other popular area?
Oh, Connecticut.
New Haven. Yeah, Connecticut. I've never had that. That's been on my bucket list.
Intrigued.
People say it's better than
Mystic
Chicago,
pizza.
better than New Jersey, New York.
That movie.
Yeah, so there really is a Mystic, Connecticut, and it's actually
where the hell, Michigan,
where the USS Nautilus submarine is. So you could take a trip there, Jeff, with the kids, and it could be like a history lesson / pizza. And do you know?
I probably can't even eat the pizza.
Connecticut
for pizza.
They gotta have gluten free.
I mean, the kids could eat the pizza.
Yeah, do it for the kids, bro.
Do it for the kids, and you get the history.
You could get your sausage.
It's a good history lesson. Shout out Mystic, Connecticut. If you ever want to go there, it's Mystic Seaport. They have good food there. There's a seafood restaurant there too, Jeff. You don't have to just eat the pizza.
Okay. Well, I don't like seafood either. So anyways,
well, you're just bad. You're just miserable when it comes to food. Jeff, I know. Eat queso with a spoon. Bring it with you. Pack it in a bag with a spork, rather. And but no, I mean, there's a lot of stuff to do there. There's the seaport, which I love.
4,000.
It's a little like colonial.
How far is that from you, Chef?
For me, it's probably like 6 hours for me.
Okay.
Maybe
I don't know.
5.
It seems like
4 or
everything in
5.
the East Coast is like a 35-minute drive. But I know
No.
traffic-
I live in the south tip of New Jersey. So, but
Just a tip.
there's a full replica of Amistad, the Amistad that was there.
We went to.
I'm sure you recognize that movie name. There's the
we-
USS Nautilus. There's what
Things
else
to
is
do
there?
in Mystic, Connecticut.
There's
Nothing.
an aquarium.
There's nothing here.
Dude.
Okay.
Yes, there is.
We went
There's
to Bethany
things to do.
Beach like 2 summers ago. So in Delaware, is that close to you?
Where?
Bethany Beach in Delaware.
I mean, that's probably like an hour and a half away from me.
Shout out to the DMV.
You got to get across the Delaware Bay.
This is a history lesson. Now we go from fantasy football. Now we're.
I'm a
going back to
master of
social
geography.
studies.
I am.
What's
very good
the
at
state
geography.
capital of New Hampshire?
New Hampshire, Concord.
What's the state? Is that true? What's the state capital of Oregon?
If you say it confidently enough,
Oregon
sure,
is
it's true.
Salem.
Oh, that sounds right. I think. What's the one of?
Right.
Help me out here, man. What are some other states?
I
What
pretty
are-
much know
What are
them
all of the oceans?
The Atlantic, the Indian, the Pacific, the Arctic.
This one's the toughest. Everyone gets this one.
Man, is there another one?
Yeah, there's one more.
The Antarctic.
No, good,
No.
good.
The Indian? Did I say that?
Nope. You did say it. You said Arctic, Indian, Atlantic, and Pacific. There's one more. You have 4. There's one more. 5.
I feel I can't even think. I know there's
this is-
5, but I can't think. Of
This is the
other one
toughest one that no one really remembers.
Man,
There's 5 oceans? I thought there was only 4. An ocean has to be saltwater.
What is the theme song? It begins with an S.
oh wow, I wouldn't
An
have thought
S?
that. So, I wasn't that far off, but like I wouldn't have thought that.
So
Huh.
Arctic, Indian,
South
Atlantic,
Arctic,
Pacific. You
Close,
almost
Jeff.
got it.
South Antarctic,
No.
Southern.
Southern.
Southern
Just
Ocean.
Southern Ocean.
Really?
Yeah, right.
They didn't teach us that in school.
No.
I swear. Yeah, is
I
this
thought there were
Mandela
only
effect?
4, man.
I knew there were 5, but I didn't think there was the Southern Ocean.
Southern Ocean. It's a tough one.
I swear in school it was the Antarctic Ocean. I swear.
Yeah,
maybe-
that's the Arctic Ocean.
Oh well, you already said it. Okay.
In parentheses, they call it the Antarctic. So maybe it's
Yeah.
just
Oh,
how you've learned it. So there
technicality.
we go.
Yeah,
That's
maybe
what I
they
said.
upgraded things since Jeff and I were in school.
No, I think I
They
learned that
decided,
too.
we just needed to make it the Southern Ocean because we didn't want to alienate
Offend
the
anybody.
Antarctic. So I don't know.
Maybe Antarctic was just too close to Arctic.
Because calling it Antarctic was pretty cold, man.
Mm.
Shout out Cold Tea. They just
How do
wanted
you
to keep it
decide what an ocean is, though? Like, what's the classification for an ocean?
Salt.
large
Big?
salt body of water. No,
But there's like big lakes that why aren't they oceans?
but they're
Are
not
they
salt
salty?
water. They're not open water. So I guess you
Open
have to
water.
What?
so open water. Oceans have to be open water. They
What's
can't be
closed water?
surrounded by land.
Oh, okay. I mean,
Like a
what?
lake.
There's
a
land
lake-
somewhere,
So
right?
like seas are surrounded by land. Oceans surround land. Think about it like that.
What? What's? I mean, it's like it's glass half
Someone's
empty, glass half full type
speak.
thing. Like, which one are you? Surrounded by or surrounding?
I don't know. Google that.
That's
That's
tough.
a good one.
I need to go back to school.
This is like July. This is like actually like April content. So
Yeah, we are
do
in
have
the
actual
mid-season. So
football,
Kenny Gainwell's coming off a 6-reception game. It's something very interesting to see.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, we're having Cowboys.
And he's
Oh, we're
beating
talking about
Miles
him now?
Sanders in the fantasy rankings right now,
Good
which
for
is
him.
not
Rough
good.
streets out there, for Miles Sanders. I'm
It's
a Miles
been rough
Sanders.
the last 2 weeks. And
It's rough
like, I don't know what
for this-
Sirianni's doing out there, man.
I think he's just
not-
trying to
not
find
winning
his groove.
football Games, you know,
Hmm.
That's
He's trying to
I'll
find
tell
his
you
groove.
that.
So if
Winning football
I
games.
mean,
what
it's
if, like-
paying off for Jalen Hurts in fantasy football, though, so I don't care.
which is fair. But like, let's think about the NFL. Like, what if the Eagles are just losing? Right? They got 3 first-round draft picks.
Do they?
Do they? We'll see if anything happens. Who knows?
I mean,
knows
he
what's
already
gonna get
missed.
happened?
No, he didn't miss a game yet, did he?
Has not missed time yet, but you know, with the Colts, I don't know because that division, like that division is such that 7 wins could win that division potentially, but at the same time, it just feels very irresponsible to convey the 8th overall pick in the draft for Carson Wentz in a lost season. So at some point, and it surprises me that you'd think some of these games that maybe we'd be seeing a little bit more of random Jacob Eason snaps, like to
you have a better chance of seeing
bit.
Brett Hundley, I guess, because
apparently Brett Hundley or Sam Ellinger when he comes back. So I feel like I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm not smart enough to be an NFL GM, NFL coach, but if I had the first pick on the line, I would, or the first round pick, I'd probably be shuffling snaps a little bit, maybe be doing a little bit of wildcat with Nyheim and Jonathan Taylor and send Carson Wentz off the field occasionally. But
what's the possibility that they go after Cam Newton for cheap?
I don't know.
I think that you'd have to see an injury. I don't think Cam's going to sign anywhere unless there's a quarterback that's out for the season.
And he's a starter.
All right, so I'm dropping him in SFB.
Probably.
Damn. I'm sitting in a similar place with Sean Watson in SFB, and it's one of those that you hate to move on from them. It feels like you're wasting a roster spot, but at the same time, Chef, I'd ask you the question: what are you going to pick up if you drop him? A handcuff running that back that maybe turns into something, or a kicker for a bye week. I don't know.
I mean, if Cordarrelle Patterson's sitting out there on the waiver wire right now,
then your league is doing a very poor job.
It's like no way.
I doubt he is.
What if
Craig's out here? Craig signed him from. I thought I'd slip him through waivers, and then Craig went out and dropped $15 on him and took him from me. So
what about Brandon Bolden?
That was what I get, but that's the only reason
Brandon
why that
Bolden
happened was because he wasn't properly classified by MFL as a running back. So
hey, we don't have to talk about that.
I mean, Brandon Bolden would be a good ad.
Is Scott Fishbowl full PPR?
It's half PPR, but then you get I think you get half for first down too.
Yeah, Brandon Bolden. I mean, I don't know. He'll see 3 to 4 receptions.
I have him on my team. So
looking at it, Brandon Bolden's available.
Yeah, I have him on my SFB team. He's about my last roster spot, but I was encouraged.
If Cordarrelle Patterson.
What about Khalif Raymond? He's had 16 targets the last 2 weeks with the Lions. Has he separated himself? Is he the wide receiver one there, coming off a 2-touchdown game?
I think he's
just the slot.
Yeah, he's the slot.
I don't know. I just don't.
Jared Patterson. I would pick up Jared Patterson.
Yeah, with Gibson being iffy, I would pick up Bolden before Jared Patterson though, because I do think that I think Bolden has that role. I just don't think that they're going to
having any acquisitions from the Patriots.
Yeah, if they make a move, sure, but it sounds like
they
current roster. He's the guy.
JJ Taylor fumbled. I mean, it was a rainy game. Ramondre Stevenson didn't play.
I don't.
Why are they hiding Ramondre Stevenson? Why?
He's not ready.
Remember Mike? Because he's a rookie running back with Bill Belichick. Mike laid it out for us. He just doesn't play rookies like that, or they got to earn it or whatever.
Mike. Yes. No. I agree.
What I do?
But I said I remember Mike. I missed.
Oh, I think something about Mike. I was like, "What's wrong with my Mike?"
No. But I agree. I don't really understand the love affair with JG Taylor. I think it's just one of those that maybe we're dynasty big braining it a little bit on him because it's just one of those.
He will be.
Brandon Bolden hasn't done it yet, so we're just kind of saying, no, he's not.
It has to be, yeah.
I do think that there's a fair amount of that happens, that you ignore the actual production for the future production when the future production might not even be the case.
Shout out Justin. He wants to know how much fab would we spend on Bolden or P. Ryan.
Listen to me, but anyways, P. Ryan is the guy that I would target. P. Ryan, I rank him. I'd go with Damian Williams first, P. Ryan second, then probably Bolden. Alex Collins is interesting. I don't know if the usage was just because of the Thursday night game coming up or if there's a real role. I know that the stories out of camp this summer were that they really liked Alex Collins, but obviously the early portion, they saw a lot more Chris Carson there. I'm so bad at answering how much fab, but I do think that Damian Williams, and if we get
4 to 5 weeks.
Yeah, Damian Williams would be number one.
I would aggressively go after it. We're already at the point where we're through week 4. You have a good idea if you're a playoff team, if you need help, if you desperately need running back help. start burning some of this fab a little bit. And if you pluck into Damian Williams and you get a starting running back for 5 weeks, the way I play fantasy, I'm looking at 4-week windows usually is what I'm trying to do. And you're trying to get through break down those 4 weeks, and NFL teams do it the same way. They break it down into 4 weeks, and you're trying to ace those 4 weeks, and you hit those 4 weeks, then you're moving on. You're not worried about it quite yet, but he's a guy that I would go aggressively after Damian Williams. P. Ryan is one that I don't know, because the first report
he's like a 1 week. He's like a 1 week kind of guy.
I
wouldn't go out and spend too much
know.
fab on P. Ryan. Mixon might actually come out and play. Originally, they thought it might have been something more serious, but it's like a light sprain
versus the Packers.
Yeah, versus the Packers, who has a very poor rushing defense. Notoriously, you can run on them. But Bolden, I would spend at least 10%. Because you have him for the rest of the season as a pass catching flex back. So that is somebody that I wouldn't mind spending a little bit up for, maybe ahead of Damian Williams, because you're only going to get 4 games out of him. It's the type of production that you're looking for. If you're looking for someone that is a flex consideration, like say you don't really need a running back, well then Bolden's your guy that you can switch into your flex spot. Damian Williams, he's going to get you over that hump, like you said, that 4-week. But they do have a couple of tough matchups. I think they play Tampa Bay in 2 weeks before they head into their bye. So that's something to think about as well. You're going to get a bye week. Montgomery will probably come back after that bye week. I believe in 4 or 5. I think it's 5 weeks with the bye. So that would probably put David Montgomery coming back in week whatever that is. 11.
If the Bears are not winning, like let's say they're 3-8, like are they going to really rush back Montgomery?
Yeah, I think they still put him in the starting role. They're not going to do that to themselves. Not to say that, like, I don't know, like,
but they have no shot really at the
they
Packers.
really don't, but they really don't have too much depth either.
I mean, Khalil Herbert, Damian Williams,
I mean, you could probably see Khalil
Tariq
Herbert
Cohen might come back.
You could see Khalil Herbert getting a little bit more work if
the Bears are doing bad.
I think it's going to be a split opportunity between the two anyway. I don't think it's just going to be straight Damian Williams. I think Khalil Herbert gets an uptick in targets.
They got to see what they got out of him.
We saw a little bit of it this past week. I think he can still get like at least 35 to 40% of the snap share,
hopefully,
depending on game script.
I don't
Jeff's
agree.
saying no.
That seems a lot.
No, I think that they're going to lean on Williams, while especially with the uncertainty, especially if Justin Fields is the quarterback, then you're going to go with the experienced running back. But I don't see Herbert getting that much work. David Montgomery is going to be your back for the next couple of years. So I don't really buy into the argument in this situation that you need to see what you have in Herbert. I think that you can see that without having him in the game action. I think that Damian Williams is the type of player he's a good player. And if he would have landed somewhere else in a more uncertain running back situation, if he would have landed with the Jets, I think that we'd be a little bit more excited about him through the summer. And so he landed somewhere that he was stuck. And there were certainly teams that would have colored the complexion a little bit. I'm half surprised Kansas City didn't bring him back, and it almost makes me wonder if it was the type of thing where they didn't want somebody that could really threaten Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And I think we see that sometimes with high investments in young players, and especially young players that struggled earlier. Some of the players behind him, and another guy an older player that I think that a team set themselves up for to not have somebody pushing him is Ben Roethlisberger with the Steelers. Not having a guy like, I feel like going after a Tyrod Taylor or something like that. If the team were a little bit more realistic in the offseason and would be willing to pull him, I see a lot of comments and questions about should they play Dwayne Haskins, should they play Mason Rudolph instead of Ben Roethlisberger. They're not doing that. And it's just,
I still say Herbert gets 30% of the snaps.
Snaps is
30%, 30% of the snap share. Yeah, we saw Damian Williams.
Fine.
Damian Williams was getting 33%, and that was with David Montgomery playing the whole game until he got injured. I mean, Khalil Herbert had at least 3 or 4 snaps in there as well, carries rather.
I don't know how much. That's not.
I mean, it was an 8-3, and then Montgomery got.
It's not fantasy production, though. It's
no. I'm just talking about attempts in general and snap share. Yeah. Montgomery had 62% before and that was before he went down. So, I mean, they're going to chop that up however you want to split it up. But I think Herbert. I know, speaking for dynasty purposes, you should have Herbert roster just in case.
Yes.
Like, who knows if David Montgomery, this is his second time getting injured in consecutive seasons. So we saw the Bears struggle first and foremost without David Montgomery last year. So what does that say for the rest of the offense? I think it boosts the passing game a little bit more because they know they're not going to be able to run. And we could be looking at the same Bears next year. I mean, like last year, because Fields really hasn't shown anything. Sorry, Jeff. I know you love him. Maybe not so much now.
He played better.
He played better. Yeah, he went from 3 fantasy points to 8 fantasy points. That's improvement. That's improvement.
Games, Jeff. He played better.
I know. He made some good bomb plays, man. He made some good passes. And then what is the new trend with rookie quarterbacks or newer quarterbacks? Why do they scramble backwards? I watched Jalen Hurts scramble backwards multiple times, and then I saw Justin Fields do the same thing. Is it that are they taught that in college? Like, I don't get it. Like, why aren't they stepping up and running through the pocket? We saw Sam Darnold do it. We've seen Herbert do it. We see Josh Allen do it a lot, but we're not seeing these new quarterbacks like Jalen Hurts, like I just mentioned, Justin Fields, even Trey Lance. They're running backwards, like scared out of the pocket. Zach Wilson does it a lot. But
Zach Wilson
the
does
Jets
it
offensive
a lot,
line sucks.
I don't know that it's scared so much as in college you can get away with it, and so I think you get away with it in college, and so it's just hasn't been coached.
It's a bad habit
out of them, and so it's one of those that because they're not reading it quick enough, they're not reading that they need to step up and go quick enough, and they're used to being able to have that time in college and being able to, realistic. You look at Justin Fields, he's 6'5", 240 pounds. He's playing Iowa, or not Iowa, but like Iowa's a decent team, but like Illinois, like he can outmuscle the defensive end for Illinois. And so I think that there's some of that in college that it's
hard to transfer to the NFL in this.
Well, yeah, it doesn't transfer at all in the NFL. And so I think it's one of those that as the game starts to slow down a little bit, as they trust their pre-snap reads a little bit more, because that's all the NFL is. You saw, when Peyton Manning was 40 years old or whatever it was, and he had a noodle arm, like everything was done pre-snap, and everything, entire career was done pre-snap. And so they're not there yet with that. So much of the NFL is pre-snap, and in college, it's more so. There's some of that, but college is a lot more instinctual, a lot more allow the athletes to take over simplified schemes, even on both sides of the ball. There's a lot more simplified schemes in college that you just rely on your athletes. And so there's certainly an adjustment level to that. And so it's probably learning to trust what you see before, but also getting that instincts of stepping up, getting the ball out, moving to where you can create a positive play or you can get rid of the ball versus trying to keep it alive more that you might see in college. So, but we do see Patrick Mahomes do some crazy stuff too. And so there's certainly levels to that.
Fair enough. That was pretty deep, Jeff. Damn. All right. And we'll throw some dynasty into this. Name one dynasty player. And then we'll get into our draft because we are getting a little late. Name one dynasty player each that you are intrigued about that you didn't think was going to hit in the offseason. Now, after 4 weeks, we've seen the production come. It could be either way, or we can do it opposite because it is, we are chaos. A player that you were high on that you're ready just to like throw off of your roster. Because of poor play or no opportunity, et cetera, et cetera. Jeff, since you're the brain, I'll go to you first because I know Corey is sitting there in the dark, almost literally.
I'm trying to
think of something. Yeah, I can see it. Like I see the smoke from here, bro.
A player that, it pains
a player
me,
that you're either high on now that you weren't in the offseason, or a player that you were high on in the offseason that you're almost ready to dump for dynasty.
That seems rough.
We
don't do show sheets. Otherwise, you would have been on there.
Yep.
Don't say it. Dude, he scored. He scored this week, Jeff. He scored. I told you it's going to happen, dude. It's going to happen more.
That's the
more.
bad.
Hunter Henry's going to go off.
Gosh, a player that I was not as high on that. I'll go with a random guy that I was not as high on that I have been surprised has pulled through with some production was Quintez Cephas. He's a guy that, I saw them bring in Tyrell Williams. I saw them bring in Perryman. Obviously, he got cut. They drafted Amon-Ra St. Brown. They brought in Khalil Raymond, and obviously he's doing some things, but he's a guy that, the athletic profile I was kind of out on. I liked him as a football player at Wisconsin, but I didn't think it'd translate. And so some of the things that we saw last year, I thought it was, some of it's having Marvin Jones on the field with you and having some of the playing with Matthew Stafford, those type of things. But he's a guy that I was just kind of really out on. And so I've been pleasantly surprised at some of the playmaking ability that he's carried over to this year. And so he's produced more than I expected. So I don't know that he's really going to get, I still have a hard time believing that he's going to be an asset as they go forward. I've said before, this Lions team feels like they could sign, Allen Robinson's a guy who's from the Detroit area. They could sign Allen Robinson. They could draft Chris Olave in the second round. And all of a sudden, all these guys that we're kind of intrigued about just disappear completely because, being a Bills fan, we saw that with the Bills where Robert Foster looked good for one season. And then they went out and they got Beasley and they got John Brown, and then the next year they got Stephon Diggs, and Robert Foster is just nothing anymore. And so that's my concern there. But I have been pleasantly surprised by his production so far this season.
So the flip side, since you brought up the Bills, I wouldn't say it was high on him, but Gabriel Davis, it's just disappointing to see his lack of production. I mean, obviously they got Manny Sanders. I was like, oh, he's a slot guy. They lost John Brown. Davis will be the deep threat, but then sort of about Jeff's tweet about air yards, it's like, if he's getting air yards, why would it matter if he's not seeing the targets, which has been obviously proven to be true.
Yeah, I can agree with you there.
He's just a young guy. Like Manny Sanders helps them more right now to pair him with Cole Beasley and Stephon Diggs, and then obviously Knox in the red zone, seeing those targets. Maybe we just got to wait another year.
Another guy, the guy for me, similar
Pause.
to Jeff. Yeah, before one of you else.
We're talking about Gabe Davis.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, man. Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's gotten
4th-round rookie
targets.
Analytics.
Yeah, 12 receptions, 113 yards. I wish he can get into the end zone, but it doesn't look like he is the massive target share guy that I was hoping he was going to be. I knew once Tyrell Williams got cut that he was going to have the opportunity, but it looks like it's almost a 50-50 split with Quintez Cephas and Amon-Ra St. Brown for now, with Swift and Hawkinson being the main benefactors in that offense. Unfortunately.
I mean, yeah,
but for the future, I mean, I'm not cutting St. Brown, but
no,
I'm just a little disappointed as of right now.
Yeah, that's a win for analytics. 4th-round rookie, blah blah blah. But he was hyped up to be a slot guy too, wasn't he?
I mean, he could play anywhere, but mainly he's an outside guy.
I mean, it's a tough offense, bad team. What happened to letting receivers develop a year or two?
Same thing with quarterbacks.
Everybody wants instant gratification, dude.
It's a faster world.
I think you're seeing a lot more. We talked about the college game being simplified with how quarterbacks are playing, but I do think that wide receivers, you're seeing more wide receiver option routes, more leveling in college passing games that it's not the old, line up in the I formation and we're going to run the ball down your throat and occasionally we'll take a shot play to our wide receiver. A lot of the spread concepts from college have flown up to the NFL. And so a lot of what wide receivers are doing, they're being asked to do earlier, especially at some of the better schools. And so I think that's why we've lost some of the, waiting for the year 3 breakout, because these guys have already been in this, it's even down in high school too. And so it used to be in high school, everybody was running the wing T and we were running option and everybody was wide receivers blocking. And so now even the high school level, they're running spreads. They're doing these camps all summer long, all spring long, passing camps and just different, again, like some of the leveling concepts and the option routes that play off each other that you see at the NFL level are hitting when you're 16 years old. And so that's why you're seeing a lot more immediate impact on the wide receivers.
Shout out.
I like that. That's great analysis, Jeff.
Shout out to high school. Do you scout high school players yet, Jeff, or no?
No, I'm not a big high school scout.
No.
I like them closer to draft eligibility.
What's like the population of Devi people that like do high school stuff?
Devi's a weird space, man. So like you get some people that they love the 18-year-old prospects, and some people they love digging into the small school guys and trying to find that diamond in the rough. And there's other that I'm of the spectrum that I'm more concerned about who's going to be draftable sooner and who's standing out earlier that we can look forward to. Certainly running back Travion Henderson at Ohio State is a guy like that, but I just don't have time.
So much could change probably within that time.
Another Ohio State running back.
So much can change from when you were younger to when you're older. And speaking of when you are younger, childhood toys. Now we got rid of board games, video games. That doesn't
Card
matter.
games.
Card games, sure. Okay. So I had the first pick here. Can I pick a bike?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the bicycle. That was an important childhood toy for me for different reasons, many reasons.
Transportation, fun.
Yeah, you're just riding around with them buddies. Yeah.
Bike, yeah.
So I'm going to take that bicycle.
All right.
So how specific are we getting here? Because
no training wheels for me.
Well, my question is,
should have been a
tricycle.
If
I were to say action figures, does that I need to get more specific?
G.I. Joe, Barbie.
I mean, that's a lot. That's a big, wide
I wouldn't
genre
mind
of childhood toys.
But I wouldn't mind giving.
If you're gonna steal the whole thing, I mean,
like G.I. Joe versus Barbie's different. But if he's just talking about like action figures,
I'm talking like G.I. Joes. And
I mean, well, then say G.I. Joes.
Maybe go specific, but I wouldn't mind
that's
it.
What I'm trying to figure out here. That's what I'm trying to figure out. How can I just walk out with
like
the whole category?
What was your favorite toy? What was your favorite toy?
Action figures.
Action figures.
You know what? I'm going to go with? I'm going to go with sports cards.
Nice.
All right. It's a little different approach. I'm going to go with Legos.
Nice.
Oh, Legos is a snag. That's a good one.
First one, and then I really didn't think past that. So
this is a struggle. It was a great idea, but then putting it into action.
give me
put it into action figures.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with G.I. Joes now that Jeff, said that.
Okay. So I will go with Star Wars figures.
That was my other one that I was thinking about going with. Very well.
Bicycles, sports cards, Legos, G.I. Joes, Star Wars figures. Again, this is childhood toys, no games, video games, board games, card games. Video games, board games, card games. But what about a ball?
What kind of ball?
I know. I was just seeing if a ball is acceptable.
Yes.
I'm gonna go football. A football for sure.
Just any old football?
I mean, like what, dude? A football, dude. The one you throw.
Okay.
And stuff. Yeah, like neighborhood games. You're in the street. Sometimes you go to a field. I'm on my bike. I hit the bell, ting ting, and I got a football with me. Oh shit! I'm back to back here. What else? Oh my god. Okay. I'm a fan. I'm just gonna go with chalk.
Okay, hopscotch.
Hopscotch, dude. You got your neighbors, dude. I'm a fan of chalk, dude. I do it. I use it at work every day. So
I'm gonna go with a sled.
Because with a sled, that's a good one.
Like
that's seasonal, nice. But like that's an important one.
Depending on where you live, it's seasonal.
Oh, true. Good point.
Childhood toys. Well, I mean, I guess
should we do 4 rounds?
Kind of like more like a sport. No, we don't have to do 4 rounds. Jeff left Ninja Turtles right there. Oh man. Yeah, I'm gonna go Ninja Turtles. That's easy. That was my favorite action figure growing up.
What else did we miss, dude?
I used to throw them in the pool.
A razor scooter.
things.
I mean,
so
those
I'm
are
sure
modes
there's
of
a lot
transport. We're
moving.
getting into
What
modes
about
of transportation here.
trampoline?
Trampolines could be
Good.
fun.
Wow.
Does the swimming pool count as a children's
Whoa,
toy?
a diving
Mm,
board.
I mean, it's if it's a
Boom,
kiddie
boom, boom.
pool.
Oh, a kiddie pool. That's a good one. What about a rod? A fishing rod?
Those
A rod.
a rod. I mean, if it's the one that you drop in and catch the little fish with the magnets and roll it up, then it's a toy. If it's a real fishing pole where